Today I'm taking you with me in a day in the life of a remote recruiter in Mauritius Island. So here I've tried to replicate the exact same organization that I have in Belgium, which means that in Belgium I work 100% remotely, I work from home, but I also have an office mostly to produce my videos, so I don't have to move around my material, I can have my lighting there, etc. And I do the same here, so you saw the office already yesterday, and I have all my material there, and this is where I produce my video for you guys. So let's get to the office now, and I will show you my day, I will share some practical tips, and yes, I hope you will enjoy it. It's a bit dark today. I think that it's gonna rain. Anyway, I just wanted to show you something first, because here we are in the street of the office. One of the nice things of working here is that when you are a remote recruiter, you also have potentially a different time zone, and it is my case. For the moment here, it is around 8 o'clock, but in Belgium, it means that it is 6 o'clock. And most of my clients are in Belgium. Most of my candidates that I'm calling, they are in Belgium. So it means that in morning, I'm really free. I have a couple of hours to do whatever I want before starting working. Also, especially that I wake up quite early here. Let me show you what I like to do when I come early to the office. So actually at like 200 or 300 meters there is a port with the sea. So today it's not very sunny, but when it is very nice to come here and to walk and to do my thing before I really start working. Let me show you. So here we go, we arrived. I just come here and I can walk. So either I come here when I come to the office, or I spend time with my family, or I just walk, or I just visit the island. But it is also a nice spot to stay. It's really hot.
Calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different when the blessings accrue. Hey, who you talking?
So as I said, one of the great advantages that I have here is that there is a time difference, and the time difference is in my favor, because when I start working at 8 or 9, it is only 6 or 7 a.m. in Belgium. This is very useful. Why? Because the first thing that I like to do is going on job boards, on LinkedIn, and to make sure that I contact the new candidates first, before my competition, because I know that they won't reach out to the candidate that early. So obviously I'm not gonna call the candidate that early, but at least I can make sure that as soon as he starts working, he receives my email, he sees my message, etc. And it improves a bit my response rate. So I'm very happy with that. Otherwise, as you know, I already explained that in the video that I made in Belgium, so I really advise you to watch it if you didn't already, because I really share my day plan and my organization in details. But my day plan is always ready the day before. Then I start my day, I go through my emails, I make sure that I prioritize what is urgent, what is not. What is urgent, I do it immediately. What is not, I do it during the admin time. Otherwise, I screen the CVs that I receive, the answers to my ads. I contact people on job boards. I do a lot of LinkedIn, because for the moment my main difficulty is to find candidates, as most recruiters if you do tech recruiting. So yes, a big part of my morning is really dedicated to that. LinkedIn hunting, LinkedIn search, job board search, contacting candidates via email, etc. And then later on in the morning, I can start a calling session. And also I have a small tip for you. This is something that I found out quite recently using Gmail, and something that I changed since the last video, is that you have actually the possibility to have all your unread emails first. So you just go in quick setting and you can choose the inbox type and you choose unread first. And it is very useful. Why? Because it's like a to-do list. You know, I just leave on unread what I still have to do, and also I don't have to go on multiple pages to find all my unread emails. I have everything on the first page, and I really like it. So maybe if you are using Gmail, it can also be useful for you. Also recently I got some question about What's my methodology to find candidates with LinkedIn Recruiter? I'm probably not the best person to share tips about it because really I'm not a pro. I'm still learning too. I find it very challenging. As I said, as a tech recruiter, it is really the most difficult part of the job, but I can always share my experience and you can see if there is anything useful for you. So what I do is that I create my project with my keywords. So for example, let's say that I'm looking for a cloud engineer. So I will put my keywords, I will set up the search with the location, the languages, the technical skills, etc. And I always try to have not less than 300 people in the list and not more than 500 because otherwise it is too wide. And if it's less than 300, it is too niche. And I really need to contact a lot of people if I want to get some answers, as you know, because the response rate is really a big challenge. Then what I check first in the list are the open to work profiles, but there are not that many. And also the recommendation from LinkedIn. I contact those people first. And then when it's done, as I said, there are not that many. So it's really quick in the morning. Maybe it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Then I start calling people within my list. So the 3 or 4, 500 people in the list. Of course, not everybody in the same day. Usually to contact everybody, I will take maybe 2 or 3 months because I'm not into mass mailing. I'm in a niche market, so it doesn't make sense. If I do mass mailing, I will reach out to everybody in my list quite quickly, but my response rate will be very low and very poor. So what I do is that I have a very targeted approach, a very personalized approach. I want to make it clear for the candidate that it is personalized, that I've read his profile before sending him an email. So it is really important. So I go to the profile, I check few things that I could use to make him understand, to make him realize that yes, I read his profile, it is not mass mailing, it is not a bot sending automatic messages, etc. And it helps me to increase my response rate. So concerning the content of the email, because it is personalized, I try not to use templates because I don't want to fall into a routine, lose creativity, because it is the best way to really kill your response rate and you don't even notice that you are just in an automatic mode and there is not much difference between sending automatic messages or using a template. But sometimes I do. I always try to change though, because as I said, I don't want to be in a routine. Except from that, what I do is that I apply one principle, which is keys. So those 4 letters for keep it short and simple. When I message a candidate, I really want to keep it short, informal. I always take that example. For me, it's like sending a WhatsApp messages. So there's not like 5 paragraphs in my email or I copy paste a job description or whatsoever. It is way too long. Nobody will read it. So I really try to keep it very short and informal. What I will do is, for example, I will say to the candidate, okay, I see that you have started with this in your career, that recently you moved to that, and today you are doing a bit of this and that. And yes, I was wondering what would be your ideal next step. I have an opportunity for you that could bring a better salary. It could be learning opportunities. It would be a better flexibility, depends on the client. And I would like to discuss this further with you so I can give you more information about your opportunity. Are you curious to know more? When could I call you? And that's it. So I try to keep it very simple and to use very specific things from the candidate's profile to engage with him. So that's how I do, but really I believe that the most important is to understand that it takes time. You should never panic. You should apply the same strategy consistently and long enough to see if it works. Always analyze and monitor your ratio, your response rate, see what is working, but don't worry if it takes 6 weeks to get candidates. It's normal. There is nothing surprising. If you are doing tech recruitment, if you are in niche markets such as cybersecurity, cloud, software development, etc., it is really normal if it takes time. So do not worry, do not get impatient, and do not change your strategy as soon as you are frustrated. And every 2 weeks you try something different, because that's how you won't get results. And now I have a great list. It is 11 here, but only 9 of them in Belgium. And I can start calling my candidates. So I usually do that until the lunchtime. Then early in the afternoon, I will take care of my admin. If I have an email to answer to, if I have a CV to send to a client, if I have a contract to prepare, etc. And then again, around 1:30 to 2 p.m., I will call candidates, and I do that until the end of the day, let's say between 4 to 5 p.m. So it will be only 2 or 3 p.m. in Belgium. And at that moment, usually I have some meetings with my clients. And then later during the day, I have my coaching sessions, but I try to have only 1 coaching session per day here. And it is really more around, let's say 6, 7 or 8 o'clock. That's it for the day. And of course, if you're interested to work with us for the coaching session, the link is in the description. So unfortunately, the candidate is not available, but I never leave voicemail messages. Nobody listens to that anymore, so I always send a text message and an email with my contact details so the candidate can get back to me and he knows who tried to call him. Let's try the next one. Voicemail 2. Let's try the next one. Yes, hello sir, my name is Ivan. I'm giving you a call because I found your resume online, and so I understand that for the moment you are working as a project manager, and I just wanted to understand a bit more what was your current situation. Okay, so you are pretty open, you don't have any preference on the, let's say, on the context of the project or in terms of your salary expectations. I don't know, what do you expect at the moment? What would be the best way to stay in touch? I'm going to do my best to have a feedback already this week. I will send you an email with my contact details, so do not hesitate to get back to me. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day. So here, usually what I do, as I explained in my video how to find the candidates, is that I already have slots with the hiring manager, so I could have planned the interview directly, but I have some doubts. It's not clearly a no-go for me because there are clearly some interesting things in the resume, but there are other things, and especially with the soft skills, etc., where I have some doubts. So in this particular situation, I prefer to discuss this first with the hiring manager, so I will do it this week. Worst case scenario, I have a call with him on Monday, but he's quite reactive, so I should have a feedback this week already. Depending on what he thinks of my feedback, then we will see if we move forward with the candidate or not. Otherwise, I believe that what it is important to take away from the call is I always start with an open question. It is exactly the same that when I'm calling a client. I never use a question that you can answer by yes or no to start the call, because I want to engage and I want to open the conversation. So if you ask, for example, are you open to a new opportunity? Are you looking for a job, etc., and that the candidate is not necessarily actively looking and he wants to answer the call, there is a high risk that he will answer no, even though he might be interested in a new opportunity. So I always start with a more general question like, can you tell me more about your current situation? How is it going on? What would be the ideal next step for you, etc. So I always keep it general. So here I was lucky that he is actively looking, so it was easier. Also, we agreed on when to get feedback on how to stay in touch, etc. And it is also very important to guarantee a good experience for the candidate and to make sure that he get a feedback. And it is very, very important for your own image, but also for the company that you are representing. And also, as you can see, it is pretty difficult to have people on the phone. You know it if you do the job. So I try to be efficient and not to spend too much time on the phone. I need to keep that good pace, that good rhythm, and to go to the next one directly. So here, I didn't spend much time, for example, to explain the job, to explain the client, to get the agreement from the candidate to be presented, etc., because I had doubts. So I prefer to have the confirmation first, to make sure that he could potentially be a fit, or at least that he is interesting enough to organize a call or an interview with the hiring manager, and then I will give him more information. But for now, I prefer to save time and go to the next one. So the end of the day is approaching and I still have one thing to do before going home. It is to prepare and to have a call with a potential customer for our coaching services. Otherwise, I wish that I would have more calls to show you with candidates in this video, but unfortunately, most of my calls today were not in English, so it was not very useful for you. But if you like and enjoy this kind of content, just let me know in the comment section and I will produce more content like that, showing you the calls with the candidates, with the clients, etc. You see, I told you it will be a rainy day today. From what I understand, from my perspective, if I were you, what I would be doing. If I were in the US, in the current market conditions, and I have a strong network of candidates, I would try to start my business. Usually the mistake that people do is that they don't think about the business first, they don't think about the offer, they don't think about the USP, and they just go for it and they call clients and they go candidates and they try to match them. But what I believe is that coaching mostly is not about teaching to someone something that he doesn't know. At some point, it's just about, giving a different perspective. Someone with a different methodology and who says, okay, maybe if you look at this a bit this way, you will see the situation differently. And then you start thinking and seeing a lot of new options. And it is really why it saves so much time. Okay, but thanks a lot. If you have any other question in the meantime, do not hesitate and we'll get in touch. somewhere next month to see where you stand, and you can see from there. Okay, have a nice day.
Yep, you too. Thanks.
Yeah, bye. A very productive day today. I can finally go back home. Sorry, unfortunately, it is really way too cloudy today. I can't give you the sunset, but I will try to get you one in the next video. See you guys.